Welcome to Latte with a Lawyer, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the stories of some of America's most successful lawyers, figuring out what makes them tick, how they creatively solve problems, and how others aspiring to be them can follow in their footsteps.
Okay, folks, welcome to another episode of Latte with a Lawyer. I am your host, Jonathan Brickman, and today we have with us Dafney Dubuisson Stokes from the law firm Wong Fleming. Nice to have you, Dafney.
Nice to be here, John. Thanks.
Great. So it's afternoon. Are you still drinking coffee?
I'm going to.
Latte with a Lawyer.
I'm currently drinking water because I feel like I need to hydrate, but I will probably have some coffee in about an hour or so.
All right. What's your favorite choice of morning beverage?
Believe it or not, a latte. I'm a mocha latte girl.
Wow, that's fancy. Every day?
I know, right? I'm a Starbucks white mocha latte person.
Wow. Every day?
No, not every day. Not every day. Some days I'll make coffee from home, but I just recently got myself an espresso machine, so I make them from home as well.
Got it.
I think if I went to Starbucks every day, that wouldn't be the best idea in the world.
Yeah, I'm with you. So it looks like you're home today. Are you guys back in the office working, or are you working remotely?
We have a hybrid schedule now. So we're in the office 2 days a week and working from home 3 days a week. As a partner, I go in kind of as needed.
Yep.
So I was actually in the office every day this week except today.
Okay. Got it. How big is the law firm?
Wong Fleming, we're a national firm. In our Princeton office, we have maybe about 10 attorneys and various staff. All across the country, we have about 50 to 60 attorneys.
Okay, so it's a good size firm. Got it. And so tell us about the law that you do. What kind of law do you practice?
Sure. I do commercial litigation. So a lot of my clients are financial institutions, banks, business entities. They have entered into a contract with somebody, for a large sum of money, and the person has defaulted. So now it's my job to do the commercial collection work for them. I also work for some auto finance companies and I do their defense work. So that's not necessarily collection, but if they're getting sued for fair debt collection or for fair credit reporting, how they report it on your credit report and they're getting sued. So my job would be to defend them in federal court.
Okay. So you're on the defense side. You're never on the plaintiff side.
Yes, I'm on the defense side, never on the plaintiff side. So sometimes I say I work for the big bad guy, the big companies normally, never typically plaintiff side. I mean, in my work doing commercial collection, we're the plaintiff, but it's not necessarily considered plaintiff's work because it's still for the banks or for the company.
I see. Okay. Got it. So you kind of smiled when you said that. Do you feel bad about being on the defense side?
Not at all.
Okay. Oh, you like that? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems to me from spending a lot of time with attorneys, people are sort of suited for one or the other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually do. When you go to law school, you see it. There's like a group of people that are going to be defense attorneys and a group of people that are going to be kind of prosecutors or plaintiffs attorneys, especially in the criminal field. So, I know both. Before I went to law school, I was a social worker. So I was definitely somebody that worked for the little guy. And, my goal originally was to do family law and keep working for the little guy, but getting to law school and learning about the actual specifics of the law, I realized that I actually enjoy kind of I don't know how to describe it, but more of a hands-off approach of working with contracts and working with black and white letter of what the paperwork says, and as opposed to the emotions that come when you're working with people and something that really is going to make a huge difference in their lives.
Interesting. So so you said when you went to law school you could sort of tell. So how do you characterize like the plaintiff side from the defense side?
Well, people just kind of announced it, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
People always told me I make a good prosecutor. I'm not sure. I think it's, the way people carry themselves. You'd be in class and the professor would call on you, and if you had a certain answer or you spoke a certain way. And so as a woman, I guess I was never really meek or kind of quiet. And so I would be told all the time, well, if you went into criminal, like you'd be a good prosecutor. And I don't necessarily disagree with them. But I think some people more of the quieter types, I think, were more defense oriented in that respect, which I think is odd. But that's just how it broke down in
Oh,
school.
that's interesting. I mean, that's maybe it's kind of a stereotype. It's the same thing they say about salespeople, right? When you think of a salesperson, you think of someone who's a little bit loud and pushy and outgoing. But the reality is it's not true at all. All types of people. In fact, the people that are more introspective tend to be better because they listen more. They ask better
Mhm.
questions.
Oh, that's interesting. And I agree with you. I think people have that stereotype, but some of the best defense attorneys I know are very outgoing and very, you know, um, kind of on the ball, and they, like you said, ask a lot of questions and are very tenacious, as opposed to the prosecutors that I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Great attorneys on both sides, just that the stereotype isn't always true.
Definitely not. But everybody sort of puts people in boxes based on conditioning, what we think it's supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
So how did you become a lawyer? You start off wanting to be a social worker, then you became a lawyer. What happened? How did that whole journey happen?
So I was a psych major, and I was always really interested in psychology, and I thought I'd want to be a therapist one day, and all that. And after I graduated college, I actually got a job working as a receptionist and a legal secretary at a law firm.
Oh,
So I got exposed to kind of the legal world, and it was really interesting, and talking to the attorneys in the office and kind of picking their brains about my future. And, I was really interested in the things that they were doing. But, after I left that, I was still focused. I started working for a nonprofit, um, teaching life skills to inner city kids. From there, I moved on to working for not necessarily the state, but some couple other nonprofits as a case manager, um, doing life skill work.
where?
te-
In what city?
so originally, my first nonprofit was in Boston,
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
I saw Boston College. I grew up in Boston, so that's why I was curious about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so originally I worked as a legal secretary in Boston. Then I transitioned over to working for a nonprofit called Year Up in Boston as well.
Okay.
Right after leaving Europe, I moved to New Jersey. So I've been in New Jersey ever since.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I came to New Jersey, and in New Jersey, I stayed with the nonprofit thing. I worked for Family Services of New Jersey, teaching life skills classes to parents who are in they're not the foster care system, but their kids had gotten taken away for abuse or neglect, usually neglect. And so
Mm,
my job was to kind of teach them how to properly care for their kids. So it wasn't necessarily neglect in the sense that they were doing it on purpose. It might be that they didn't know what to do.
right.
So my job was to kind of teach them how to do that properly and care for their kids so they can get them back and get them reunited. I then left that and started working for another nonprofit called Crossroads. And that was working with children who were in foster care. This was specialized foster care. So these were the kids who had been abused, who had been diagnosed with some sort of mental health disorder, ADHD, uh, just a little harder to place
Yeah.
than other kids. So I trained the parents again on caring for these kids, and I coordinated their care across the entire state. So anything that they needed, any mental health that they needed, just regular doctors, schooling, anything. So my job was to be like the day-to-day contact person. Um, I don't want to necessarily say I was burnt out, but by the end of it, I think I just needed to change.
Mm,
I got to a point where I didn't have a master's degree in social work, so it was kind of make a decision. right? So if I was ever going to move up in the field, I needed a master's in social work.
Yeah.
And so the decision was, do I go back to school and get this master's in social work, or do I just make a complete change and do something else? And I decided that I wanted to do something else completely. And I just remembered that I was always interested in law school. And so, like I said, okay, I'll get my law degree and I'll do family law, which will go with what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And once I got to law school, and things just change. You get there and you meet different people, you get exposed to different things, and I got exposed to kind of the corporate world and different types of law that I wasn't interested in, and this was something that I kind of fell into. I interned, not clerked, I interned for a federal judge, really kind of got into these cases and meeting some interesting people, and found that, it's not that I don't want to necessarily be an advocate, but I want to do different type of law. So things like working with kids and doing advocacy in that capacity, I kind of do it on my free time as opposed to making it my career.
Got it. Where'd you go to law school? In Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I went to Temple in Pennsylvania.
Okay. My son actually is going to be a freshman at Drexel.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Yeah,
about
right
to,
in West Philly.
yeah. I'm about to go up there next week. So,
Oh, okay. Well, get here before. Well, now it's nice and cool outside. Apparently, there's a heat wave coming
oh, it is cool.
again.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean, that's,
60 something degrees today. It's really nice today.
oh, nice. Well, I live in South Florida, so it's 90.
Oh, nice. Where in South Florida?
Delray Beach.
Okay. I grew up in Miami.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
So you used to hot weather.
I was
You
used to hot
were.
weather. I was. I grew up in Miami and lived there until I went to college at 18 and used to go back every summer. And then I think I was gone for maybe 6 years and never went back. I went to Disney,
Yeah.
and I tell you, I think I started sweating from the second that plane landed until the plane took off again. It was so humid and
Yeah.
so
Once you
hot.
get out of it, you come back. Yeah.
Yeah. I just kept thinking, how did I do this for 18 years and never noticed how bad it was? It
You
was,
really get used to it. It is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I mean, now if it's below 80, it feels cool out.
I know. Well, now apparently when I go down there, the humidity just attacks me. It's
Oh,
insane.
yeah. So your family must, I'm guessing, I'm going to take a wild guess here, and maybe an educated guess, Miami, and
Uh-huh.
judging by your name, your family's from Haiti.
Yes, yes, we
Ah,
are.
I figured that. Okay,
Mhm.
got it. So you speak French?
I speak enough French to get by.
Got it.
Yeah.
Moi aussi.
Oh, okay.
I studied in school. I like languages, so I always loved French. I always thought that was a great language.
It's a beautiful language, I
It
will say.
really
It's
is.
one of the prettiest romance languages.
I think so. It's great. So, okay, so you became a lawyer and you decided maybe you make more money being commercial litigation than family law or
I
something.
mean, that was also a motivating factor as
Of
well.
course,
Yes.
right? Yeah, maybe you had some loans and student debt or something you had to pay off. I don't
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
know. That's actually one of the questions that I ask. It's funny. I'll typically, I want to know, like, what would you say to someone who was thinking about law school? And I would say 95% of the time it has to do with it's expensive and you got to think long and hard about it, right? Would you say the same thing?
Oh yeah. It's really expensive. Um, it's not for everybody. There's a lot of people that I started school with that didn't make it past the first year.
Oh,
There's
is
a
that
lot that
right?
didn't, yeah,
Yeah.
that didn't make it past the second year. That changed careers, left the school completely. And there's a couple people I graduated with that don't even practice law right now. So it's not for everyone. I think there are some people that go to law school thinking it's like the answer to whatever issue they're dealing with at the moment. um, I'll go to law school, I'll be a lawyer. Or somebody one day when they were a little kid and they were arguing and somebody says, "You make a good lawyer." And so
Right.
they think to themselves, like, that's all that it is. And that's not what it is. And that's not what practice is. The practice of law. It's not, we're not arguing with somebody all day long. A lot of the time I'm just sitting in my computer drafting documents. most of the day. That's like 90% of my job is doing sitting at my computer all day. In fact, my kids don't think I actually have a real job.
My kids say the same thing to me. What do you do? Yeah,
It's insane. My
right,
husband is a high school teacher. They know he has a job.
right.
He
Because he
gets up and
goes
he goes to
somewhere.
work every day.
Yeah, yeah,
I work from home 3 days a week and I'm at a computer 90% of the time. So they're just like, you're just playing on the computer all day, mommy. Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
So when I tell them that I'm busy, they don't get it.
Right.
So my advice to somebody thinking about going to law school would be really think long and hard if like this is what you want to do. I wouldn't say don't do it. I would just say do your research in terms of the different types of lawyers that there are, the different types of work that you can do, whether you want to specialize in something. Don't just go expecting to figure it out at
Mm,
some point. Like I went and I did end up doing something completely different, but I went in with a plan. And
right.
that plan helped because it guided, what I learned the first couple of years. I picked an externship at the family court because I wanted to do so. I wanted to see what it was. And I realized that, it wasn't for me, by doing the externship there. I entered at the federal court, which was something completely different, and realized I did like it, differently than when I came in. And I changed my mind, but having the plan allowed me to try out different avenues and figure out what was for me and what was not for me. So I think, people really need to think about it before they make such a huge commitment in terms of time and money.
Mm,
And unless you go part-time, the ABA rules, you're actually not allowed to work your first year. So in terms of loans, you're going to be taking out a lot of money because you need to not just pay the school, but you have to live
right.
until you're allowed to work. And even then, again, per the ABA, you're only allowed to work a certain number of hours. So it's very costly.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see that. Yeah, no, I didn't realize that you were not allowed to work. I guess that makes sense. They want to make sure you're focusing and learning an important function
Yeah. I mean, if you go part-time, you can work, but if you are going to go full-time,
full time.
yeah, your first year, you're not allowed to work. You're not allowed to have a job.
Interesting. Um, interesting. Okay. How long you been at the firm where you are? Is that your first, or you worked at a couple other places?
This was my first kind of bigger firm type
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
So I've worked here 6 years now.
And became a partner. That's quick, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I became a partner last year, so after 5 years.
Okay. Is that,
Mhm.
I don't know what a typical track is in a smaller law firm.
I thought it was quick. I really did. And then I remember around the time that I became partner, so many of my fellow graduates were making partner at their firm as well. So I guess that is a good trajectory, in terms of time frame. I really did think it was quick. I wasn't about to turn it down, but I definitely I was really proud of myself until I saw that other people were becoming partners. So my LinkedIn was buzzing with all the, congratulations. And I said, oh, I gotta guess this is the time frame then.
Right, right. That's funny. I mean, it's a big thing, right? To become a partner.
It
Uh,
is, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It means that, the people at my firm recognize that I'm good at my job. And not only that, but, part of being a partner is the marketing. And I love talking to people and I'm good at that as well. So you recognize some talents that I had and decided to reward me by, allowing me more say in the firm. So
Yeah,
that's nice.
that's great. Excellent. Um, so do you, in what you're doing, so you say commercial litigation. Now, does that mean you go in front of a judge, you go in front of a jury, you do both? What does that
Both.
mean? Both.
So that's both. Yeah, that's both. The only difference between regular litigation and commercial litigation is that commercial just means that it's usually business against business,
Mm,
or relating to some sort of business, right? So like I would never like if you took out a credit card and didn't pay it, I would never come deal with you. Like that would be just kind of regular litigation,
Right.
right? But like if your company, took out like an American Express business card and then had a problem with that, I'd be hired by the bank to come and deal with your company.
I see.
So it'd be my bank versus your company dealing with whatever the issue is with that credit card.
Okay. And there are jury trials. You've had
There
jury
are jury
trials?
trials. Yep, there are jury trials, and a lot of it for some of my auto finance companies. Um, we do a lot of bench trials with the judges, mostly because the legal issues are so complex. In my opinion, I think it just makes more sense to do a bench trial.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I think a lot of plaintiffs choose jury trials because they think that they'll get a better result with the jury trials as opposed to the bench trials with the judges. And on my end, a lot of the companies are choosing these days to do jury trials as opposed to doing the bench trial. And you can choose, you can make the choice to have a jury trial. Just a little check in the box when you file your complaint, whether you want a jury
Oh, I
trial.
see. So have you been in front of a jury?
I have actually never been in front of, no, I've never been in front of a jury.
Well, you got to do that. You became partner. You got to be in front of a jury once,
I
right?
know, that's my next. I actually had a jury trial coming up that settled. It was on Monday. It settled on Friday. So I was all ready to go and, ended up not having to go. I was all ready, to have my first jury trial.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? You think you would like that?
Yeah, why not? And
I
that's
don't
like
know.
that's what we come here for, right? Like that's what we became attorneys, is to stand up there, and I know that every attorney I know has seen To Kill a Mockingbird, and seen Atticus standing in front of the jury and making a speech. And this is one of the reasons we all became lawyers. So I have to get in front of a jury at some point.
All right. So you're going to have to make that happen somehow. You might have to change your practice a little bit. I don't know.
Stop settling things.
Yeah. Or go to the other side. Go to the plaintiff side.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think I kind of like where I am.
Yeah. All right. No, I've talked to a lot of lawyers, and some don't want to do jury trials. They're happy being more technical, you know, attorneys, and they don't need to get in front of a jury.
Oh, that's true. Some people, but I know you've heard this, like of the millions of legal cases that are filed, only a very, very, very small percentage actually goes to trial.
Right.
And a lot of the time it's not even so much do you even want to go in front of a jury, it's do you even want to take this to a trial to
Right.
begin with,
Right.
And I'll say this, my clients are don't really want to try these things.
Yeah.
And will only do so if pushed. Um, because it's quicker, easier, more cost effective, and
Yeah.
a lot of times a better business decision to get it resolved before we end up having to go to trial. I mean, obviously, if we have to try it, that's why they hire seasoned litigators who know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it's probably a lot of people's best interest to get these things resolved before it ends up in front of a jury or in front of a judge.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you reach a reasonable settlement, then you don't have to go to
Yeah,
trial, right?
exactly. And as long as everybody understands that a reasonable settlement means no one walks away actually happy.
Right.
Like, and I think that's the part that a lot of times people get caught up in. A reasonable settlement doesn't mean we're all happy. It means that we have compromised. And most people are a little bit upset when they walk away from it. But it just means that we've made a compromise and we can move forward and not
Yeah.
necessarily have to spend so much time, energy, and money and take the risk of a trial. And that's the thing. There's such a huge risk because what sounds really good to you and sounds very cut and dry to you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sound the same to a judge, and especially is not going to sound the same to 12 people sitting in the box.
Correct.
So you need to get them all to see your side, and that is such a huge coin toss, that it just makes a lot of sense sometimes to just get it resolved.
Exactly. So I don't think it's funny. I don't think I've even ever asked this question, but I'm gonna ask you the question. When you're in law school, do you practice, do mock trials, and get as if you were in a courtroom? Is that part of your curriculum?
Not every school has that as part of their curriculum. So Temple, specifically, one of the reasons I went there was
Mm.
because I wanted to be a litigator, and it's one of those schools that's known for kind of churning out good litigators.
Oh,
And they actually have a trial advocacy program where that's what you're taught to do. You're taught to litigate.
okay.
And part of the trial advocacy program is you do a couple of mock trials as part of the class. They're taught by litigators who actively go to court and do jury trials and all that. You're taught the rules of evidence. You're taught how to stand up and argue and make your point. You're taught how to make objections and things like that. And I do know that not every school does this. Not every school has such a practical based program
Okay.
where you're taught the rules of evidence, but very much in a classroom setting, not where you're standing up and actually objecting and have to defend it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
memorize it like that.
I'm surprised, actually. I mean, I've talked to some attorneys that said they go back to their law school and they help coach mock trial competitions, et cetera. But I would have assumed that every law school at least gave you some of that practice, but it's not true, huh?
No, that's not true. And a lot of times if they're saying that they're going back to help with mock trial, most law schools have a mock trial team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is the group of kids who are on a team where that's what they do
Oh,
is
but
kind of
doesn't
trial.
necessarily mean it's being taught.
Exactly. Like
Okay.
they're taught that because they're on a competition team that's what they do is compete by doing mock trials. Now, in terms of just teaching everybody, how to be an active litigator, I don't think every law school does that. Like actually has a practicum where you can do this.
Does
Now,
Boston College? You went to
no,
BC. Does it?
I don't think so.
No. Did you apply to
I don't want
Boston
to say I don't
College?
want to say, but I don't think so. I didn't go to the law school. No,
No,
I
I
went to the
know. But did
undergrad.
you
Yeah,
apply? Did you apply there?
I did not because I wasn't going to move.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
Yeah. I wasn't going to move up there, so there was no point in it, even if I had gotten in.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I honestly don't think so, but I do know that, I'm not going to say they don't teach you, like you're going to take a class on evidence. You're going to learn them, now do you get to, like I said, actively practice them? I don't think a lot of schools do that, but obviously, do they have a class on evidence? I'm sure every law school has a class on evidence and that, but does necessarily mean you're going to stand up and argue and put a whole trial together and have your witnesses. And like that's what we did. Like we had witnesses and we had to interview them and we put on a trial. Like that was, and we did it several times. And then our final exam was a trial. And it didn't matter if you won or lost, it was just how much you actually knew and how you were able to carry yourself in the trial.
Got it. Okay, so that's what Temple University is known for. I did not know that. One of my brothers went to the business school there.
Yeah.
I got a master's in health administration.
Okay. It was funny because I was in an interview for a job like after law school, and it was like between me and this other attorney who had gone to Villanova. And the person actually, like the recruiter actually said, well, the kids from Villanova are smart, but the kids from Temple actually know what to do.
I like that, yeah.
And I don't know if I should be offended or if I should be excited.
Well,
I was
maybe
like,
both. You're smart and you know what to
I'm
do.
smart too, So, but was the thinking, that some schools, you churn out really intelligent, attorneys who can read the rules. And there are some schools where they churn out people who can kind of hit the ground running and know what to do. And I will
Yeah,
say, as a plug for Temple, that's one of the things that they're very proud of is that they teach us practical skills so that when we get hired, we can actually be of help to the firm right off the bat, as opposed to having to be an associate for 2, 3 years before they can even send us to a deposition.
got it. Okay, well, that's very useful. I mean, no, what you're saying is that one is more theoretical, one's more practical.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's a good stopping point. That's very useful for people that are listening to this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I went to Northeastern for a graduate degree, and they're also known as being a very practical
Yeah.
program, right? Which I think in the real world is really what matters more,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
right?
Like I said, we are immediately helpful, when
Yes.
we get hired. We can do things, as opposed to being able to think, which is great. It's great to be able to think critically and be able to, be theoretical. But, when you're a lawyer, you got to be able to act.
You got to be able to act. And do you look for people when recruit people? Are you looking for that background too?
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely am. And in fact, I actually had a talk with an associate yesterday that I supervise, and she was having a little bit of a hard time, and me having to be like, look, you're a litigator. This is what you want to do. I don't need you to get it together. And like, first of all, and this is our bread and butter. Being able to get on your feet and think on your feet and talk, like that's how we make a living. So if you can't do that, you might want to find something else to do.
Ooh, tough.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know how else to say it. It means well, and I'm actively trying to help, but at the same time, I want us to be successful. I want to do well for my client, and I need good people backing me up when I do it. So, and my firm, I'm known as the nice one. I'm nice, and um, I get to know my employees and can joke with you and have a great conversation. But at the end of the day, I need people who around me who know what they're doing, who can think on their feet and work really hard. And if you can do that, I get along with you great. I have not a single problem. If you cannot do that, I do not suffer fools lightly. So
That's great. Well, that's an excellent ending here, so people know who you are and what that I'm sure that's what you want them to know about you, that you take good care of your clients, you mean business, and that's great to hear.
yeah, I
So
take
yeah,
good care of my clients and good care of my employees. If you're not doing well, I will tell you. But if you're doing well, I will also tell you as well.
good. I like that approach. I think that's a great way to be. I try to be the same way, direct and to the point, and there's no ambiguity, right? People know where they are. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. If you have to ask me, to explain how I'm feeling, then clearly I wasn't clear enough. So I try to be as direct and clear as
There
possible.
you go. All right. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you and learn more about what you do?
Sure. So the best way to get in touch with me, honestly, would probably be email, just because I always have my email with me. And that is dstokes@wongfleming.com.
Excellent. Okay. Well, this has been a lot of fun. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too,
For
John.
everybody, Dafney Dubuisson Stokes, Wong Fleming. And you guys are based in where? New Jersey?
We are based out of Princeton, New Jersey.
Princeton, New Jersey. Okay, good. And this show is sponsored by EmotionTrac with a C, and we are a legal tech platform that helps litigators like yourself prepare for trials and mediation. Anyway, thank you very much. It was really fun to spend time with you, Dafney.
Thank you, Jonathan. It was great to talk to you
You
too.
bet. Bye.